The Missouri Tigers went 10-3 last year under head coach Eli Drinkwitz. In my opinion, one of the worst coaches in the SEC by like personality. I mean, he knows ball a little bit, but pretty good year for them. I feel like they are a little disappointed, given the high expectations, like maybe making the playoffs. But their quarterback ends up getting hurt. Luther Burden maybe didn't have the year they wanted. Regardless, 10 seasons for Missouri, or 10 wins for Missouri, that's a great year. And now they look to bounce back after losing some key pieces. They lose their QB. They lose Luther Burden. As I mentioned, Armand Mimbu goes to the draft. So they have to replace some key pieces. And talking about quarterback, they bring in JP's guy from Penn State. One of your guys. I won't say he's your guy. One of your guys. Is that fair?
I wouldn't even call him one of my guys.
Yeah, let's say.
I just remember you being high on him last year.
I was high on Penn State. I think he's got potential.
Cool. So
I would not say he's one of my guys.
I think we're going to agree on him then. They bring in Bo Perbula. I'm having an aneurysm with this team. Holy crap. Bo Perbula from Penn State transfers in after not really playing there a ton last year, was the backup, has come in, in blowouts and stuff, and then the game that Aller was hurt in. He has to win the job over Sam Horn, though. I think he will, but they are technically still in the quarterback battle. What to know about Bo real quick. He's a better runner than he is a passer at this point. He's a great runner, but I think he has under 100 passing attempts in his career so far. So he's raw there. Not that there's not talent. I do think the arm's pretty strong, but at this point in his career, he's a better runner than a passer. Thoughts on not one of your guys, JP?
Well, he has no passes because there was no reason to throw the ball with him at Penn State because you have an NFL caliber quarterback in Drew Aller. If you want to know, is Bo going to play fine in the SEC, you just go watch the Wisconsin game last year for Penn State. He led them on 2 big scoring drives when Drew Aller goes down with an injury. And Wisconsin, bad, sure, but it was at Wisconsin. Penn State was 6-0 at the time. They were a top 5 team in the country. It was a huge game for them. And Bo led them kind of out of the blue, not really getting a ton of snaps at that point in the season. He leads them to a comeback victory over Wisconsin. Missouri's giving us trouble here, guys. But I think he's got the talent there. I do not think he's a bad passer whatsoever. And I talked about, in the Big 12 specifically, and especially in the Big 10, some quarterbacks are just quarterbacks. Bo is better than that. And I think he's got the potential to be really better than that. I'm excited to see him and Ahmad Hardy. If they can incorporate any kind of read option game or playing off of each other, that could be really dynamic for Missouri this year. Because Bo is a really, really capable runner. I'm also interested to see how he plays in play action. Because if you have Ahmad Hardy and you run the ball as well as they expect him to be able to run, then play action needs to be kind of a huge weapon for you. And that's something with the lack of reps. I'm curious to see how Bo performs in that. But I like him. He's not one of my guys.
I apologize for putting words in your mouth.
I don't think he's in. Yeah, he's not one of my guys. So.
Okay.
He was a Penn State quarterback, so I like him.
Penn State is one of your teams, and therefore that was transitive property onto him.
Yes.
I think it makes sense. I'm a little hesitant, especially I feel like I would have loved it if he would have just beat out Sam Horn by now, but I'm also not in the program. Who knows? Maybe Sam Horn is also just wheeling and dealing and making it a hard choice. So that doesn't necessarily give me tons of confidence. I mean, as well as what they lost. I mentioned they lost Luther Burden, but they also lost Theo Weiss, so their 2 best receivers, and they'll have to replace that, find him some pass catchers. A guy y'all know very well is coming into the program, and Kevin Coleman. He'll work out of the slot. He had 932 yards for state last year, was easily y'all's best receiver.
Yes.
So he's
from a production standpoint, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know Craver's very talented and whatnot, but 932 yards is no joke. So he's going to come in and kind of be the guy. But win total is 6.5. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to trust their defense very much. They don't have the most talented group. With all that being said, it not being the most talented group, I don't know if I trust Bo to be good enough to elevate this team to win games week in and week out in the SEC. Maybe he doesn't have to. Maybe Ahmad Hardy and the rushing attack is going to be that good, and he can use his legs. But I just he's in the bottom. I think he's bottom 5. I think I ranked my quarterbacks he was in the bottom 5 going into this year in the SEC.
That's fair. When you do over under,
Yeah.
6.5. That's crazy. I mean, not crazy. It is a distinct difference from their record last year. They finished 10-3, 9-3 in the regular season, and won a bowl game against Iowa. This year, they've got South Carolina at home, Alabama at home, A&M at home. Okay, I thought I misread that. So Alabama at home, South Carolina at home, A&M at home, Mississippi State at home. Their only road ranked SEC game right now is at Oklahoma. They also go to Auburn, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas. So, like, that's a tough schedule because you get those 3 ranked teams at home and then have to travel in the SEC to play the worst SEC teams. I think I'm going to lean. I feel like 6.5 feels low, so I think I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna stick with the under. I'm gonna stick with my gut and pick the under. I'm gonna expect regression from Missouri this year, or more regression. They're also just such a weird because 2 years ago they finished 10-2 in the regular season. They finished like ranked top 10. They would have made the playoffs that year. And I was high on them going into last year, and they almost, I feel like, the Luther Burden step back was also odd.
I mean, their quarterback also played hurt a lot, and I think that really hurt the passing game.
They
would
would have made the playoffs last year if in their biggest games they weren't absolute crap.
The A&M beat them by like 30.
It was 41-10.
The
if you
Alabama
scroll
game,
down, I think Alabama beat them by 30. I have it there.
The Alabama game was embarrassing.
34-0. A&M was 41-10, and then South Carolina they lost 34-30.
So that one was close, but they didn't beat a ranked team last year, and they got, as you said, they got stomped.
They beat Boston College.
I'm not counting.
I know I'm messing.
Crazy.
They beat Boston College by 6. They beat Vandy by 3 in overtime. They beat Auburn by 4. They beat Oklahoma by 7. They beat Arkansas by 7. They beat Iowa by 3. It was a lot of close wins. They beat us by 19, but
that's close for state.
I would smash the over. The schedule is easy. The schedule is easy for Missouri. I think they're better than all 3 of those teams they play on the road outside of Oklahoma. The Kansas game is the one kind of game that kind of scares me. That would be the kind of switch of, okay, they could go 6-6 if they lose that Kansas game, depending on how Jalen Daniels plays and Jalen Daniels' health. But I think they win all 4. They're out of conference. And then I think there's 3 SEC wins there. Mississippi State's one of them.
yeah.
I think they could beat – there's a chance they could beat A&M, South Carolina, or Alabama at home. I would not expect Alabama. And then I expect them to win 2 out of those 4 road games. I think they're just better than those teams. They're better than Vanderbilt. I think it's disrespectful to have them lose at Vanderbilt. I think you'd be too high on Vandy there.
Yeah.
I think for them, for the Missouri, and for Eli Drinkwitz, like, it's disrespectful for them to lose to Arkansas and to think that's going to happen. And so I think there's 9 wins there on the board, 3 losses being 3 of the 4 ranked games. Like, because I think they can win one of those ranked games. And there's no guarantee that Oklahoma is great. And there's no guarantee that South Carolina is great. I trust Eli Drinkwitz. I trust what they can do. But I think the schedule in large part is a huge reason. I think they're going to get 8 wins for sure. That is why I would bet the over the 6.5.
So you think
sure.
the 6.5 over under is QB related?
I think it's quarterback related, roster related, but I think it's more so just like being down on the team because they're just down on them. It could also be, I think the line is, I don't think it's moved, but it could potentially be money based as well. Like, how do they feel like? Do they feel like a bunch of people are going to take the under if it's 7.5? Probably. I mean, you guys would take the under for sure in that scenario, and not a lot of people would take the over. So they're kind of trying to find the evenness in the money as well. Because after all, it's a money thing. It's not just a
Correct.
You got it correct or you got it wrong kind of thing.
Hence the Arch Manning stuff.
Exactly.
Being Heisman favorite.
I think 8 wins is very, very doable given what they have. I'm really high on Ahmad Hardy. I'm sad nobody let that guy fall to me.
I was gonna take him at 3, and then instantly gets taken 1-1 in our college draft.
As he
so I had
should.
to pivot.
But I think
Isn't he- what
Bo
year
and
is he,
them
a
are good
sophomore?
enough
He's a sophomore.
Okay.
So.
to win 8 games because I think Bo is better than Brady Cook and Drew Pine. He's obviously better than Drew Pine, but I think he's better than Brady Cook.
But would Eli Drinkwitz let Bo date his daughter like he would Brady Cook?
Oh, I don't know about that.
We'll have to ask him, I guess.
Maybe.
I'm-
And Bo, I think the big thing what we haven't discussed, and I don't think anyone's discussing, is Bo's just a sophomore. He has time to develop too. So this is not like a 1-year kind of answer like you're seeing with these other transfers. I think Zach Calzada at Kentucky is just like, oh, this is quarterback for 1 year.
somebody.
Yeah. Bo can play for 3 years for Missouri, and I think he will. And so I
Yeah.
think he's got a really good chance to develop a ton because now he finally gets to be a starting quarterback.
I'm going to take the over as well. I'm actually not very high on this team. I don't see 9-3 like JP does, potentially. But I do think the schedule's easy enough. And as much as I don't like Eli Drinkwitz, he's
He can
succeeded
coach,
there.
yeah.
They've won 10 games back-to-back years. So I'll take them to hit the over there.